Liyana squints at the sky.
We should make camp before it gets dark.
Zack nods.
There's a good spot up ahead which hides us from view. It'll still give us visibility on any intruders, though.
Alright, you didn't have to yell at me, Zack. Jeez. Sounds good. Zack leads the way, and soon we reach the clearing. The three of us get to work setting up camp. I roll out my bedroll near the campfire and notice how thinly it spreads on the ground. Can this thing really be comfortable? I guess there's only one way to find out. I lie down on the bedroll and place my hands behind my head. This isn't as bad as I thought. A yawn escapes my lips. I could definitely fall asleep here. Good, because I'm intended to. My gaze lingers on the night sky above. The moon hangs in the inky sky, dotted with so many pinpricks of silver light. They sparkle vividly, as if trying to chase away the dark. I breathe out a breath in wonder. I never knew that stars could shine so brightly. I try to pick out a few constellations, but the star patterns above are unfamiliar.
What are you looking at?
I quickly sit up at the sound of Liyana's voice. She holds 2 steaming bowls in her hands. I accept one of the bowls with a smile as she sits beside me. I'm just admiring the sky. This place is really beautiful. Back where I live, you don't get to see so many stars.
How come?
Light pollution. Oh, he actually does that. Light pollution. Our cities are filled with so much light that it drowns out the stars. Liyana gazes thoughtfully at the sky.
Right. It's a little harder to see the stars in town than it is out here.
Okay, so at least I'm not the only one who reads things a little weirdly sometimes. I shake my head. That's not the same. Some nights I don't see the stars at all. Her eyes widen in surprise. Then she places her chin in her hands. See? See? You did the animation! You did the animation with the chin in her hands! Good job!
A night sky without stars.
She looks at me.
What's your world like?
It has really cool tech. It's bad. Humans are a plague to the planet. Different, but more or less the same. This is hard. I think the tech, honestly, is the thing is, it's hard to say just because these are kind of comparisons, you know? And I don't know enough about this world, I feel, to really make a big comparison like that. It's true, though, that Earth does have really cool tech, and from what I've seen, it doesn't seem like this place has that. However, it does seem like they have a lot of things that function similarly or that fulfill similar purposes, you know? And so that's where I would want to say different, but more or less the same. Because it is very different. But ultimately, I think between the two, I think it has really cool tech. I just think that's the most accurate thing that I want to say, so there. It's really different. We don't have any magic, but we have a lot of technology instead.
What sort of technology?
Things like cars.
What's a car?
It's a means of transportation. With a car, we could have made the journey from the Meadow Hill Plains to Meadow Hill Village within half an hour instead of half a day. Liyana looks intrigued.
You have an animal that can travel that fast?
No, it runs off of gas or electricity, depending on what type of car you have.
So it's like our carriages, which are powered by crystals. The more energy it uses, the faster it goes.
See? So there was something I was unaware of. Something like that. We have airplanes too, which fly in the sky so we can have faster travel to other areas of the world.
Humans who can fly?
Liyana's eyes grow in wonder, and she grins.
What else do you have?
I mean, here's the thing. I think that the internet is a lot more powerful a thing than mobile phones. I mean, mobile phones are awesome, don't get me wrong, but one of the main reasons they're awesome nowadays is because it has the internet on it, you know? It has access to the internet. Obviously, communication, telecommunication, that's very cool. That's very important. It's made a lot of significant advances in our world, in our society. Very powerful tool all around. But the internet covers that as well. Maybe not as conveniently in some instances, but overall, I think that the internet is a much more powerful thing than simply mobile phones. However, I don't like the way that they have the interwebs in all caps and also interwebs instead of internet. I feel like I'm gonna be all like Mimi or something, and you know, I just want to get across the actual fact that it's really important, it's really cool, it's really functional, really helpful. But I'm going to try it anyway. Well, the internet is pretty cool.
What can you do with an internet?
The internet is essentially just a massive network. You can do basically anything you want on there. She still seems confused but interested. It lets you communicate instantly with people from other countries, research, watch funny videos, play games, check your finances. Although if I had to guess, its most popular use would be, well, as we know, the internet is for porn. Liyana blinks. Maybe the wild adventures of tentacles are better left unsaid.
That does sound like you can do basically everything.
Her eyes are still wide. She speaks slowly as if still processing all this information. I think I might have overwhelmed her. By the way, if people didn't understand the reference of the internet is for porn, just keep in mind that I myself am not actually making the claim that the internet is indeed solely for porn, although it does play a big part, obviously enough. It's a reference to Avenue Q. So if you haven't seen that, I think it's pretty funny. She tilts her head back and returns her gaze to the sky. Underneath the moonlight, her pale skin seems to glow amidst the darkness. Her face softens as she smiles.
You're right. The stars really are beautiful.
We fall into a comfortable silence as we enjoy the tranquility of the night. After we finished eating and cleaning up, Zack approaches us.
It's getting late.
Liyana nods.
I'll take first watch so you can rest.
All right, I'll take second watch.
I guess that just leaves me with third. Zack stares unblinkingly at me, while Liyana coughs nervously.
That's okay. We had an early start, and I'm sure you're tired. We should rest up and sleep through the night.
What she's saying is she doesn't trust me to actually be able to alert and defend them properly, which is fair. She's right, I'll do that, whatever. Do you guys not trust me? I don't think I need to ask. Alright, thanks. She smiles warmly.
Good night, then.
Good night. Zack nods, then Liyana crawls into her bedroll. As she lies down, Zack positions himself against a tree and takes a seat. You know, if given the option, I think I have to take the opportunity to try to get to know the person I'm traveling with a little bit more. After all, I am curious as to why he has a bounty on his head. If we're going to be traveling together, I should make an effort to get to know what kind of person he is. I walk over to Zack. Hey. Mind if I sit? He gestures for me to join him, so I do. Obviously, I'll have to lead the conversation. So, how's the weather? Zack stares at me. Alright, let's switch gears. Are you a cat or a dog person?
Is this going anywhere?
I sigh. I'm trying to build up some trust here, but you've got to meet me halfway. Zack looks away. Great. Guess he doesn't want to talk.
Dog.
Hey! And you know what else we confirmed? Dogs and cats are a thing in this world.
I prefer canines.
Oh, cool. The silence creeps in again. So, we're all going to Illumia.
Yep.
What brings you there?
I'm meeting someone.
Oh, a friend?
Someone from work.
What do you do?
I'm a mercenary.
Ah. Mercenary, that's awesome. This explains so much. Ah, acceptable murder. I'm between these two. Here's the issue. I have to discuss everything. This explains so much. My issue with that is that I really don't know him that well, so really, what does it explain? You know, does it explain the fact that he has a bounty on his head? Not particularly. Not any more than any other kind of explanation would do. Does it explain the fact that he's quiet? Not really. The only thing that it really explains is the fact that he's capable in a fight, and that he clearly has some experience with battle. But you could have, like, so many other explanations for that. I guess it still does explain so much in that sense, but they're just other explanations. And then Mercenary, that's cool. Like, part of me wants to do it because, one, I think the character would think so. Two, you know, trying to show my appreciation for him, what he does for a living. However, I think something that, at least I as a player right now, am going to try to approach it as, like, the character, maybe he shouldn't approach this in a romantic way. And when I say it like that, I mean in the sense that Pirates of the Caribbean is kind of a romantic view of pirates and piracy. You know, it wasn't actually like that, you know? Like, it's overly dramatic, and it's kind of played out to be something that's super cool and all that. Being a mercenary, if you were to actually be living in this world, you know, would that be, like, cool? Would it really? Like, I don't know. Imagine all of the tough decisions they would have to make. Imagine all of the things they would have to justify because they need to eat. You know, because they need to be able to afford a place to stay the night. You know, that's not really cool in that sense. If you're thinking about it in how being a mercenary would probably actually work, I don't know. So I'm going to go with this explained so much and hope that it doesn't come off as, like, rude or assuming. It all makes sense now.
What does?
Everything about you. The angst, that hard-boiled exterior, the frequent cold shoulder. What about the actual stuff that it does explain? Like, like how he's good with the wet. You're totally the brooding main character from one of my JRPGs. This is not the route that I had anticipated.
What are you talking about?
He stares at me and I smirk. That's exactly how one of those MCs would react.
So, why are you going to Illumia?
Liyana's taking me to the Mage Academy. He studies me again.
Are you a mage? You don't have a manipulator.
I shake my head. No, I'm looking for answers. He nods in understanding and doesn't pry. Although I try to stop it, a yawn escapes.
You should get some sleep. We have an early start in the morning.
That sounds familiar. I push myself to standing. Good night. He nods. I lie down in my bedroll and scooch around to get comfortable. I try closing my eyes to sleep, but something still doesn't feel right. Pongo's not with me, that's what it is. Oh yeah, I need a pillow. Sitting up, I look around for anything I can use. My gaze falls on the Pongo, who now rests beside Liyana. I'll just make do. The little Pongo rolls over in his sleep. I don't want to disturb him. Plus, that would be pretty rude, right? I don't find anything else suitable and decide to just make do without one. Lying back down on the bed, I close my eyes and eventually drift to sleep. I do get the music! They might have wanted to, like, fade the background music out at least at the same time as playing the little night to day music. Kind of weird having the overlap there, and then it fades out. If it had been a continuous thing where it was still going here, would have been less weird. A little weird though when it interrupts the going to sleep sound effect, like the little jingle, you know, but then is gone. A dull throbbing in my back pulls me awake. I hadn't fully appreciated the magic of mattresses until now. A yawn escapes me and I stretch widely. Aside from the achiness, I actually feel well rested. I sit up and glance around. Zack leans against a tree with his head down. His hair covers his eyes, so I can't tell if they're open or closed. Regardless, his hands rest on the handles of his dischargers. Creepy. Looking around again, I fail to spot Liyana. Where did she go? I think I hear a cry in the distance. Is that her? I should go investigate. Crossing over a hill. Shouldn't I wake Zack? Crossing over a hill, I see Liyana practicing in an open field. She grips her blade in a fighting stance, her face stern with concentration. She swings her blade in a high arc, ending with a graceful spin. Judging by how fluid and accurate her movement is, it's clear she's dedicated many years to perfecting her craft. Her hair whips around her as she turns, but never seems to blow in her face. Even with heavy armor, her movements are still nimble, as if she's wearing no armor at all. I wonder if all of that has to do with her wind magic. Once she notices me, she lowers her sword.
Oh, sorry. Did I wake you? I moved out here so I wouldn't disturb you.
No, I was already up. I didn't see you at camp, so I came looking.
Gotcha.
Glancing down at my feet, I spot the beaming Pongo. Liyana giggles.
Looks like you guys are best friends already.
Oh yes. Of course. The best of friends, isn't that right? The Pongo nods excitedly.
Boy.
It's pretty early. Do you always begin your mornings with a warm-up? Liyana nods.
It helps me wake up and prepare for the day ahead. Also, it's become a part of my routine, so it just doesn't feel right when I don't do
That's
it.
fair. I know what you mean. I can't really go through my morning routine from Earth here on Terra, and it feels a bit strange.
Right.
Liyana looks down. The awkwardness creeps into the silence. She probably took that in a negative way, which wasn't my intention. That's okay, though. I can always make a new routine.
New routine?
I unsheath my blade and grip it. This morning practice you do seems like a good place to start. She grins.
Considering how well you handled yourself yesterday, I'm curious to see what's the extent of your skill set.
I was pretty awesome. I smirk. Only one way to find out. So what's the lesson today, Senpai?
Sand pie?
I shake my head. Never mind. She blinks, then refocuses and matches my fighting stance by raising her sword.
Since you already have some experience with the blade, sparring will be the best way to gauge your skills.
I'm ready. I don't want to end up hurting you. Let's do this then. I'm ready. I tighten the grip on my blade. Ready when you are.
Here I come!
I'm ready to press the buttons. Liyana dashes towards me. Her movements seem slower than what they were during the bandit fight. It seems like she isn't using her wind magic. Click the icons as fast as you can. Oh, like these icons. I thought it was going to match them again, but no. Win! Good! I was concerned when they all started popping up like that. Somehow, I managed to keep pace with her. Every time I think I'm about to get the upper hand, her intensity increases until we're equally matched again. Even so, I could feel her holding back. Without using magic, Mage Knights are still a formidable opponent with the sword, especially if they're anything like Liyana. We go back and forth with a few more swings until Liyana strikes from above. I hurriedly block with my sword, but I lose my balance in my hurry and topple to the ground, landing on my back. Ugh. Liyana kneels down beside me.
Your fundamentals are solid. If you keep practicing, I'm sure you'll be a formidable warrior in no time.
Why, thank you. That's pretty high praise when it's coming from you. She smiles and blushes. Liyana extends a hand and helps me back onto my feet.
It would be better if I could watch you spar with someone else. That way, I can see your movement from different angles and give you better feedback.
I was gonna say I could spar with Zack, but he has guns. Unless the Pongo can use a sword, the only other option is Zack. I look around and spot Zack leaning against a tree closer to our sparring location. He watches us with his arms crossed. Wait, how long has he been here? Liyana rushes over to him.
Zack! Would you be willing to duel with him?
You said with! You said with! That's not there! She points to me.
I'd like to get a better look at his technique.
He merely stares at her.
Oh, right. You need a blade.
Haha, I was right! Liyana hands her blade to Zack. He takes it from her and inspects it.
What are the rules of the duel?
Standard spar. Be the first one to knock your opponent to the ground.
And please don't kill me. Alright, I guess being a mercenary, it would make sense if he, was trained in multiple different forms of combat. But it would also make sense if he wasn't. So I'm not surprised, but I wouldn't have been surprised with the other way either. Zack nods and heads towards the field. As Liyana returns to me, we share a glance. That was surprisingly easy. I guess it's not in a mercenary's nature to back down from a fight, even if it's a fake one.
Are you two ready?
I step a decent distance away from Zack and ready my blade. Yep. Zack continues to stand there. I look at Liyana again as she just shrugs. He nods.
Okay, begin!
I rush forward. And suddenly I'm on the ground. Suddenly I'm on the ground, staring up at the sky with an aching pain in my chest and the wind knocked out of me. I groan.
Strange. I thought he'd last at least 2 shots.
We gave you a blade for a reason, Zack! It should have been obvious, Zack!
Zack!
Yeah, see? That was a fun pout.
What?
Why did you use your discharger?
Why not?
Liyana steps forward.
The whole point was to have a sword match with him.
You didn't list that as a rule.
Her frustration is evident in her voice.
Why else would I give you my sword?
Why did you give me your sword?
What are you asking now?
For you to use!
She snatches her blade back from Zack and heads over to me.
Are you hurt?
I'm just gonna go with... I'll be fine, I think. I touch the tender spot on my chest. It feels like I was shot with a paintball bazooka, but at least my armor is still intact. Liyana helps me up again.
The one and only lesson you need to know when fighting. Do whatever it takes to win.
As soon as he's done speaking, Zack turns around and heads back to the campsite. That sounds just like what the angsty BAMC of a JRPG would say. My suspicions were correct all along. Liyana huffs.
Mercenaries can be so annoying sometimes.
He's probably seen some heavy stuff. His advice is relevant. I'm gonna go with this one. Mercenaries take on all sorts of jobs, including some really unsavory types. That probably influences their battle ethics and code for survival to be more brutal than others. Liyana ponders my words.
That's true.
I don't know why it's like... has like weird delays and everything. I don't know. We pack up our things and clean up the campsite. Then we continue our journey. As we walk, we slip into a comfortable silence. Zack lingers behind Liyana and I while the pongo returns to his usual spot on my head. Also, if we're gonna be grammatically correct again, it would be Zack lingers behind Liyana and me. Just saying. After a few hours, it doesn't feel like we're getting any closer. So, how long until we reach Illumia?
We'll need to stop at Raven Pass to restock and spend the night. But if we continue to make good time, we'll reach Illumia by midday tomorrow.
That's good. One more day of walking. If only I had brought my BitFit, I would have my daily steps done for a lifetime. I nod, and we fall back into silence. By mid-afternoon, we arrive at the gates of a settlement even smaller than Meadow Hill Village. Last time I think village was capitalized, wasn't it? The town consists of an inn and a few shops, the bare essentials. They probably only ever see travelers like us, people passing through on their way to Illumia.
Okay, we should stock up on supplies.
I'll be making a stop at the weaponsmith.
Actually, I want to bring up one other thing. So we can't see an example. Here, let me go to the log really quick. Oh, crap. Well, I guess I can go to the log anyway. So look at the one up here. The town consists of an inn and a few shops, the bare essentials. They're using a dash, but the way they're using a dash is by using 2 hyphens. Now, if you're using a word processor like, Microsoft Word, then many times it will automatically convert 2 hyphens when put together like that into a dash. And that's correct. However, in this case, obviously whatever they were using to program this, it didn't automatically do that. And so I just wonder, could it be possible to actually just manually put in a dash in those places? Because again, a dash is more technically correct, or at the very least, it looks better than just 2 hyphens put together. Again, it serves the same purpose, essentially, but it doesn't look as good. It doesn't look as professional, at least to me. I think I did encounter that issue when I was doing making my April Fool's project for the Doki Doki Literature Club Evans route kind of thing. I think what I had to do was just copy and paste, honestly, a full dash into the project. Because yeah, if I were to just put 2 hyphens, then it would just go on as 2 hyphens. But when I wanted there to be an actual dash, I'm pretty sure what I did, was just copy an actual dash from a word processor or from a web page. If you just Google dash, you could probably find it. Just an M dash. You want an M dash in particular. EM, as in money. So I'd just recommend that. I think it would be an improvement. It's not essential. Again, 2 hyphens, it does work the same way, but yeah. Zack pats the 2 holster discharges by his side. Now that I think about it, I only saw him use one during the bandit ambush. The other one must have already been damaged. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Oh, it's also there.
I'll check out the shop since my weapons are okay on repairs.
I'll go with you. Liyana smiles. Zack nods.
See you soon, then.
He turns down another path.
Let's go.
Again, it's weird because it'll just pause, and then suddenly her breasts and skirt bounce, and It's like, did it lag because it was loading the animation? Liyana smiles back at me as she leads the way to the shops. Wait up! We find the general store with ease since the marketplace itself is quite small. In fact, I'm surprised by how busy this store is. Hey, it's the same store as before. I guess if you're the only general store around, business is bound to be good. As Liyana picks out a couple items, I look around the shop. I noticed people of all backgrounds wearing clothes ranging from the leatherite scene in Meadow Hill to intricately embroidered robes. They really do get all types traveling through here. Once Liyana is finished, I follow her to the counter to pay for our items.
Will that be all for today?
Liyana nods.
Your total comes to 34 coins.
Coins. Just coins. Not copper pieces or silver pieces or gold pieces or platinum pieces. Just coins. Liyana's eyes widen.
34 coins for these? It should be at most 30.
Okay, is a 4-coin difference a big enough difference to be making that kind of a reaction? I mean, especially if you're haggling. I don't know. The shopkeeper frowns apologetically. He doesn't seem too happy about the price either.
I'm sorry, miss. The goods themselves are only 20 coins. The rest of the cost is the 70% tax.
Oh. Okay. Fair enough. And I thought taxes in America were about... Stay quiet. It's not my place to say anything. Especially nothing that would contribute to this. Liyana furrows her brow.
I don't remember the tax being so high in the past.
The mayor only recently increased the tax.
Has no one asked why? It doesn't seem fair.
The man nods.
We did in the beginning, but then the mayor hired enforcers of the new law.
Liyana frowns, but doesn't say anything more. The shopkeeper continues to look apologetic as he gestures at her items.
I'm really sorry about this, miss, but I don't have any other choice.
I understand. It's not your fault.
Then why won't you look at him, Liyana? Why won't you look him in the eyes? She hands over the coins.
Thank you for understanding. Safe travels.
As we head out, Liyana seems quieter than usual. Are you okay?
Something about this just doesn't seem right. New tax rules and new guards to enforce them? I came through here only a few days ago on my way to Meadow Hill, and the tax hadn't been changed then.
That's a pretty big change for a few days, yeah.
It all seems too sudden.
Let's investigate. I think we got scammed. This really doesn't... Let's investigate! We should find out what's going on here. Liyana blinks.
Really?
I nod. We can't just leave it alone if something foul is at play here. Liyana smiles.
You're right. Anyway, let's go meet up with Zack.
I nod. We make our way to the lane of armory and smiths and peek through a few shop windows before we spot Zack. A guard looms over him. Uh-oh, this doesn't look promising. Liyana frowns as we enter the shop.
This doesn't concern you. Stay out of it.
It became my concern when you threatened him in front of me.
Oh.
Threatened. All I told him was what may happen to his store if he doesn't pay up for these protective services.
Right.
Leave. Now.
The guard laughs.
What makes you think I'd listen to you?
Sorry, the way that the U, like the letter U of the word U, connects with the question mark makes that look really weird. Doesn't that look weird? Zack glares at the guard as he flips open his coat and reveals his discharger. He grips the second discharger on the table. The color drains from the guard's face. I'll admit, that's a cool picture right there. That image of Zack, it looks good.
2 dischargers with purple spheres and a black trench coat.
Okay, so the color of the crystal matters.
It can't be.
Zack shifts slightly, increasing the ferocity in his eyes. The guard tries to hide his fear with false bravado. He turns towards the shopkeeper.
You're lucky your friend was here today.
Okay, see, so you were threatening him flat out if you're gonna say you're lucky he was here.
He won't always be here, though.
After imparting one last subtle threat, the guard hurries out of the shop, brushing past Liyana and I. Again, should be me. I mean, I can't point out everything like in the last one. It should have been a comma before though. I'm just saying! Zack relaxes and the shopkeeper sighs in relief.
Thank you.
That have to do with this new tax you mentioned?
The shopkeeper nods.
The taxes just keep growing. I've tried to keep my prices as low as possible for the customers, but then our taxes grow and, well, you saw what happens next.
Yeah. His fingers tremble as he takes back the discharger. I think he's still shaken up by what happened.
I'm sorry. I still need a few more minutes to finish up the repairs. It would have been done by now if we hadn't been interrupted.
Zack nods. The weaponsmith gives him a grateful smile as he returns to his workroom. Tax issues again.
It looks like it's affecting all of the stores, and it's only going to get worse.
I'm not going to let it escalate.
Liyana and I glance at Zack in surprise.
You two head to the inn. I have something to take care of first.
What are you planning to do?
I'm going to pay a visit to the mayor.
A good Samaritan mercenary? Say, we'll help. We're coming too. Zack looks surprised.
Something here is just not right. We can't sit by and do nothing.
The shopkeeper returns and places Zack's discharger on the counter.
All fixed.
Thanks. Here.
Zack offers coins to the vendor, who shakes his head.
Please, don't worry about it. You've already done me a huge favor by helping me with the guard.
That's a lot of money he's just passing up. Zack holsters his discharger and places the coins on the counter anyway.
I insist.
The shopkeeper looks conflicted, then sighs and nods gratefully. Good guy, Zack. Zack leads the way out of the shop and through the town. His footsteps are long and full of purpose, which is a change from his quiet, cautious demeanor. I can't help but look at him with a newfound respect. And this is the first time I've seen him so determined and driven. Cue outro, go!